I wanted to be at Texas State. I chose to be at Texas State. I'm from Texas. That was important to me. I always knew if the right guy got this job, you better watch out.
You better watch out. This is Win Now or Get Bent, episode 192. If you don't already know, I'm Kev Tardello, coming to you on Tuesday, June 10th, and we have part 2 of the mailbag. That's right, we're splitting it up. We haven't done this before, but we're splitting up the mailbag. The mailbag episodes always go too long, and I always, sometimes towards the end, I feel rushed, but now I feel refreshed, where it's like, okay, now I can fully answer these questions and not worry about a time crunch or anything going on. So we will get there. We'll pick right back up with Goose for Heisman, our good guy Goose. He has a good question. But before we get there, this episode is brought to you by TGC LLC, a team of professional consultants dedicated to helping others realize their business potential through people, planning, and practice. Their services cover a wide range of areas such as business strategy, marketing, human resources, and financial planning. If you own property or a business and want to maximize its profitability, contact TGC at thegalindocollective.com and follow their social media platforms on Twitter at TGC_LLC and on Instagram and Facebook at the Galindo Collective. Shout out to my guy, Rick Galindo, a true Tech State sicko, a Tech State grad himself. He has gotten us to a lot of places from Dallas to New Orleans to right here in San Marcos. He's with us again through 2025. Cannot thank TGC LLC enough. Third season they're on board. So thank you so much to Rick Galindo and the GalindoCollective.com, Galindo, GalindoCollective.com. And a quick one again for Wizard Wednesdays coming up with our great producer, Zachary Webb. He's going to be giving his thoughts, going to be talking about some Pac-12, what if that's a good idea for the Bobcats, what the future looks like if that happens. Great stuff coming from the Wizard. I'm so excited for y'all to hear from him. I'm excited for him to start this series, this segment, if you will. It's going to be all web. It'll be nice. Break up the echo chamber of just this guy yapping into a mic. We don't need that. We need to hear from other people in the community. That's what's great about these mailbags that we do, because it's good to hear from y'all, and that's what he wants to do on Wizard Wednesday. He wants to hear from you. So debate him, come at him. If you don't think he's right about whatever he's talking about, come at the Wizard. Stump the Wizard, if you will. Go get him. No, he's great, and I'm excited for this series. So check it out Wednesdays. All right, let's get back to this mailbag. I know we were on Goose for Heisman. That is at Goose for Heisman on Twitter. If you are a Tech State sicko, you should follow that guy. He's been on these Twitter streets under many accounts for a long time. Let's see. Oh, spicy one from Goose. It always has to be. Do you think TJ and Trout are washed? You put the R in it, so I'm going to respect it. It's very West Texas. Are they washed, or is there a way back to glory for them? What can they do to turn things around? Also, do you think the King of the Hill reboot is going to be any good or nah? Hashtag WNOGB. Appreciate using the hashtag WNOGB. Makes it a little easier to find it. It also increases our footprint, our digital footprint, if you will, if that matters to you. Probably shouldn't. Does to us a little. Do I think TJ and Trout are washed? I will say basketball, ever since winning those back-to-back regular season championships and then losing in the first round, and then having some down regular seasons, but then solid performances in the Sun Belt tournament, since it's been such a roller coaster with TJ and the basketball team. Obviously, he's going to come back this year. He will be back. I saw them posting where Mark Drone is back as well, which is great. Seemed like he was going to enter the portal. Seemed like he was dealing with injuries last season, but anytime he got in there, it was noticeable. Mark Drones is a great player. Gums is back. Caden Gums. There's some, but there's a lot of players leaving. There's a lot of players coming in. It's a lot of unknown. And so I don't know. The answer is hang on to your players. And they build a culture where they don't want to leave. You know, specifically talking basketball right now, because it seems like a lot of these guys leave and make lateral moves or even go down a level. Well, they were playing well here, and then they'll go somewhere that doesn't seem like, well, why would you go there? Baseball, it's like you see guys like Matthew Tippy's going to Alabama. So who signed with Auburn? I'm missing it right now. But you shrug and you say, hey, go get them. Kind of understand. Probably making some good money. It's a business decision more than anything. These guys have to maximize on their moment. Basketball, I feel like I have TJ a little more on the hot seat than I do Trout. I really think if there aren't any dividends after this year, then they may need to think about moving on. I know they're in a time where they're paying GJ Kinney a lot of money, so firing these coaches that you got to pay a hefty amount when you let them go. So I imagine that's on their mind as well with Texas State. Are the books? They want to be competitive in those sports, in basketball and in baseball. They're doing well across the board, as we mentioned, the Bubba's Cup. But those sports do matter. They matter a lot. There are a lot of eyes on those two sports. It's probably the next two after football. Those are the two that people look at. So fixing that, I mean, I really think that if something special doesn't happen with basketball this season, then they may need to think about moving on. Trout, I'm not as quick to dismiss. I still think he can be a talented coach. We've seen what they can do. They can get really hyped up on these weekday games and take down a Texas, take down these P4s. But it hasn't been consistent, you know. Finding that consistency, and he is still a young coach himself. Both those coaches are TJ and Trout are both young guys, and that's why even if they went out next season and it was not a complete bottom out, but meandering around a 500 record, a winning record, and they decide, okay, let's give it another go the following year, I wouldn't hate them for it. These are not two coaches where I'm like, you got to get them out of there. I've seen some pretty visceral comments, especially about TJ, and I understand it because there is that standard. The name of this podcast is Win Now or Get Bent. So I fully understand that. But I do think that basketball is a little more on the hot seat than baseball, but baseball was pretty disappointing, especially when it seemed like, okay, this is going to be a really good year for baseball. I mean, I know leading into it, there was so much hype about this team. Everybody kept coming up to me when I was at football stuff like, you got to check out baseball this year, check out baseball. And it was a disappointment. And you see schools like UTSA surpassing Texas State. I haven't wanted to bring that up. It's just made me sick. But now that they've lost and they're out, it felt great. I feel a little better, but that was the sport that you could really hang your hat on, that you had over them, over UTSA, and for them to almost take their lunch away from them in that situation isn't good. So you really got to light a fire, go recruit, go get some pitchers, and they can recruit. Trout can recruit, but that's one that they really need to get a hold on, because that is kind of what this school is known about. And if that's something that they think about, if it's another meandering season, and they're like, you know what, we have a reputation to uphold, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a change. So I don't think either coach is washed, as the question asked. I think they're both still really good coaches, but I think they really, really got to step it up this season, and they know it. I guarantee you they know it. But good stuff from Goose. He had more here. What else was it? What can they do to turn things around? Recruit, don't lose players. That's the biggest thing. Not, and when I say recruit, I don't mean just recruit the transfer portal. Recruit your own guys. Keep them. Just because they sign, they're not going to stay. It's a different deal. It's a different era where you have to re-recruit your guys almost all the time. And it's got to be tough. Somebody doesn't get enough playing time in their mind, out the door. They're not getting enough money, out the door. So I imagine their response when you say, well, you got to recruit, you got to hang on to your guys. They'll say, you got to increase NIL, you got to increase more money. Which revenue sharing, I know it's official. I can't believe I'm just now bringing it up. We're going to have a whole little deal on that. Not in this episode, but coming up, we're going to really dive into revenue sharing, and I'm going to put my head together with some people that know more about it than I do. Hopefully maybe some Texas State people. That'd be nice. Talk a little bit about what this means for here in San Marcos. But I imagine that goes into it as well, revenue sharing, NIL. That's how they can increase these players. But keeping your guys, letting these players leave for basketball and baseball, it's been a big problem. I know. I feel like it's been 3 straight seasons for basketball where it's basically 3/4 of the team are out the door. And do you think the King of the Hill reboot is going to be any good or not? I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical. Big fan of the original text. I really hope that this reimagining, I don't know what you'd call it, doesn't bastardize the original one for me. So I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm also probably thinking too heavily into it. I mean, this is important to people in Texas. This is like the one cartoon we get, or one piece of adult animation that's true to it. It's true, man. The people in it. I mean, if you've lived in Texas long enough and you've watched that show, you feel like you've met half the characters, most of the characters in your personal life at some point. So I'm skeptical though. I'm always skeptical when they wait 20 or so years to come back and like, oh, we're just gonna pick up where it was, and now Bobby's an adult, and I don't know. It's not gonna have the same feel. I'm skeptical, but I will tune in. I'm skeptically optimistic. Does that work? Did that work? But I appreciate you, Goose. Always great to hear from you. Hope the weather's well in New Mexico. My guy, Baseball Nut at Baseball Nut 46. How you doing, my guy? I am so glad to hear from you. Has the little one learned how to body slam daddy? Has he learned how to run and jump into daddy's lap while leading with a knee? Oh man, and I hope nobody teaches him that because he does run up. He doesn't. The jumping's not quite there, so we're right at 14 months with the kiddo. He's doing great. He's walking, talking, running all over the place. Started walking right a few weeks before his first birthday. So he's been going, he's been motoring. He's got a 2.5-year-old sister that's been a great template for him, if you will. He gets to watch her and be like, okay, I can take care of some of that stuff. Can he body slam me yet? No, still the king of this household. You come at me, you're gonna get a power bomb. That's what you're gonna get on a cushion, a bed, couch, something. You try to body slam me, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it in this house. I hope he doesn't learn how to do a flying knee. I don't need that. The guy is already all over the place. He's a real personable guy too. My daughter had a recital on Sunday, her first recital. She did great, twos and tutus. Went out there and did a whole little bunny dance. It was very precious. And he is we had to sit there for other people all through from 2-year-olds to high schoolers. So we were sitting there for a while. We brought the kiddo. He was asleep when we walked in. He woke up halfway through it, didn't cry, took a bottle, watched the recital, clapped even, did some clapping when everybody's clapping. So it was great. He's doing awesome. Daughter's doing awesome as well. She will be 3 in October, which is incredible. We are flying by over here. My 4-year wedding anniversary is on Thursday. Shout out to my beautiful wife and the mother of our children, Hunter Chardello. We don't hear much from Hunter. She's the strong woman behind me that you always need in your life. But shout out to Hunter. Shout out to my family. Thanks for asking about family. That's nice. Baseball Nut. I know you met my wife. You met her at the bowl game. She really enjoyed chatting with you. That was a good time. We were in the lobby. What was that hotel? The West End, something like that in Dallas. A bunch of Tech State sickos were congregating and just owning the space. And it was great. We sat there and talked with Baseball Nut for a good while. Appreciate that question. Can't wait to see you this season. I'm gonna come out to your tailgate. I mentioned a hot dog earlier on episode part 1 of the mailbag. I was asked about the tailgate for Mason Flores. He's always got a hot dog for me. He's like, come out to tailgate, come out to the alumni tailgate. I think it's Tea Association tailgate. So shout out to my guy Baseball Nut. I don't always make it out there, but I'm gonna do it more and more this season. See, he's meeting up with Baseball Nut. That might be the extent of my tailgating. I probably should do more. Get less official out here. This one's from Everything Texas State at TXST Game Day. What's up, Everything Texas State? With the stadium end zone complex renovation, do we have a sense of what the new capacity will be up from 28K? That's honestly a great question that I hadn't even thought of. Where they're adding. It doesn't look like official seating, but it's like standing room on top of the end zone complex. I don't know if it will increase the seating. But that's a fantastic question. I don't have the answer for you that I will get the answer for you because it's one I haven't thought about. It's one I haven't asked is why. I will say I've driven by it. You know, it's right there by the big HEB here in San Marcos. So anytime I have to go there, I make sure to go the long way so I can go through the parking lot, take a look at the stadium, see how it's looking. It's looking great. It's really looking great. I I imagine we got to see it in spring and it was looking near completion. And they've done more. I haven't gotten in there and gotten on top of it or anything, but can imagine that boy is going to be done by the beginning of the season, or at least somewhere close to it. We'll see how much work they can do this summer. I don't mean to put a date on it that they're not ready for, so that's nothing official. That's me speculating, but they are really cranking on that. And I will ask, will it increase the seating? In fact, I'll send a text here in a bit, see if I can get that answer. Probably not on this episode, but I'll get you that answer. Everything Texas State. Appreciate what you do promoting these Bobcats out there. I see you on the Twitter streets. All right, this one's from my guy Flint at the Rev SWT. That's a name I recognize going back to Bobcat Report days. It says, I know. Oh, it's another one about the facility, so that works out great. I know the weightlifting facility at the stadium, not the end zone complex, but you get it. Yeah. Is near completion after many delays, but have you heard any grand opening plans? Haven't heard a specific date or plan for it yet. But like I said, they're really cranking. And the weight room aspect of it, they actually, I feel like they have that pretty close, way closer to completion than some of the other aspects, like the walkway that connects to the seating so that you don't have to go all the way down to ground level to go from the seats to the end zone complex. So I feel like that weight room. I mean, I took a little video during spring ball I'll go ahead and DM that to you, Flint, but where they were in there working out and it looks great. It looks brand new. But I imagine there's still little aspects of it they're still working on. That might have just been the part that was open they were using. Second part to his question, going to be part of opening weekend or is an event? It's part of it. Not sure yet, but I'll get that answer. That one and the stadium capacity, two good questions. And what is the view like from the new suites? Don't know yet. We're going to check it out. I feel like a lot of I don't know when it comes to these renovations and everything. I'll have to get a nice tour from somebody soon or something. Go check it out up there. Um, appreciate you, Flint. That was a good one. I'll get some better answers for you. A better question than answer. How about that? This one is from Benjamin Young at Benjamin69147 on Twitter. From a purely competitive standpoint, where do you think the Cats have the best chance to compete and win in all programs, Sun Belt or Pac-12? Great question. Would all programs improve if we made the jump while still allowing softball, volleyball, and track to continue their successes? This is a good question because I right off the bat, if Texas State does make this move, realignment happens, they go to the Pac-12. I think they would have an uphill battle competing against some of these programs. I mean, we're talking about Boise State, Washington State, Oregon State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State. None of these, they're not, not a lot of slouches. Are they the power teams in the country? No, but this will be if it were to form, if they bring Texas State and they had those eight that are in there, I'd say that's the best G6, however we're going to call them, G6 or teetering power conference. I wouldn't consider it a power, but I would say it would be more competitive than the Sun Belt. And especially right off the bat, initially for Texas State, you move to the Pac-12, there would be a little bit of a decrease competing against these schools until you get enough recruiting classes that you go to and say, hey, guess what? You want to come play in the Pac-12? Pretty good competition you're going to play in. It's good conference. Hey, by the way, we make more media rights money here and revenue sharing is part of the deal. So we can cut you a check that's a little bit bigger than what we used to be able to. It would take a couple years for that to go into effect and all these new players to come in and for the success to come. I think it would take time, but right off the bat, I would say the Bobcats would be more competitive in the Sun Belt. But after a couple years of being in the Pac-12 and being able to recruit that and show these great athletes that, hey, you can come in here and experience competition that you're not going to experience anywhere else in this state. So I think that would pay dividends after a while. But as far as initially, which one would they be more competitive in and have a chance of winning it all and succeeding in all the other programs? I would say the Sun Belt. But I don't think that should be a reason to not go to the Pac-12. I still think it is a tactical advantage to position yourself into a conference like the Pac-12 with we don't know all the changes. You know, the SEC is trying to break off and do their own thing. These power schools that's what they're trying to do. And I think if you want at least a chance for a seat at the table, you try to move any way that you can. It's not that the Sun Belt is a bad conference. It's just that it's not the TV money isn't there. It's not the most recognizable conference. Pac-12. That name has cachet. Still, even after it fell apart, that's still a name that is on the forefront of people's mind when they think of college football and everything. So I feel like that would go a long way. And to be honest, and the funny thing is we're talking about realignment and all this, and I understand the sour grapes from some of these other uh, people around the Sun Belt that either cover it or are fans of the Sun Belt Conference, where they are like, how can this team, especially when you look at football, they haven't even won the Sun Belt Conference. Why are they thinking of leaving and leaping to another conference? The audacity of these Bobcats. But the truth is that San Marcos is the best market in the Sun Belt. It's positioned between San Antonio and Austin, two huge cities. It's smack dab in the middle, 30 minutes away from both, 20 from Austin, 40 from San Antonio. So we'll meet in the middle, say 30 minutes from each. It's a big market. It's a big school, 40,000 students, over 220,000 living alumni. It's a massive demographic that you just don't get in the rest of the Sun Belt, and that is why Texas State is being targeted for it, and that's why they're trying to position it. It's nothing against other teams in the Sun Belt or the conference itself. It's just literally it's location, location, location. And the Bobcats have a really good location. It's something that's why I've cemented my flag into the ground covering these Bobcats because that's something I've recognized that I feel like others haven't recognized. They've overlooked it. It's in the shadow of these two big cities, so you overlook it. You drive right past it on 35 on your way to Austin or on your way to San Antonio. But there are a lot of people here, a lot of people here, and there's a lot of Texas State fans that care about this place, and you see it on social media, the footprint, the digital footprint that this place has. And when we want to make noise, it's heard. A lot of times they don't want to hear it and they don't always agree with it, but they're going to hear it. This is a special place. And that's why I think that moving up and on, it is a smart choice. And I don't want to step on Wizard Wednesday. Check it out. Zachary Webb, he's going to talk a lot about that. I don't want to step on his toes too much, but to answer the question from a guy, Benjamin Young, I would say Sunbelt would be more competitive. But even though I know the pods win now or get bent, but it's not all about winning. It's you gotta get that money too. Need some money, and a move would make them money, and it may hurt a little bit right after you make the move, but once the money keeps coming in, you're able to recruit more, do more things after a couple of years. Who knows what you can do? Good question, Benjamin. Great stuff, actually. Really appreciate that question. Next up we have Curtis Spillman. What's up, Curtis? Hope you're well, my guy. Can you lobby to purchase and demolish the government housing next to the stadium? That's funny. This is a real interesting topic because there's some government housing right next to the stadium. And it's been there a long, long time. And so many people look at it and go, that's where the practice field should be. That's where so and so should be, or extra parking or anything. And that is tough because that does house a lot of people. There are a lot of. I used to live right by it at an apartment complex called the Summit, right there on Thorpe Lane, kind of across from over there. There are a lot of people that live there. So I think purchasing and demolishing, it's going to be hard to purchase because you assume that the state of Texas owns it if it's government housing. But you would have to figure out some sort of relocation. You can't just say, well, Texas State owns it now, you're all evicted. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of families. I used to walk my dog through that neighborhood. It's so that would be a tough situation. That's why I know a lot of people look at that and they go, "Man, that's a prime location," but it's also a prime location for a lot of families and everything. So I feel like if there was a proper plan to give them comparable housing close somewhere in town, yeah, I could be I could be in on that. But I also think Texas State owns a lot around this area. Yes, it's filling up quick, but they do own a lot. They have a practice field that they don't even use. That's where you could put the outdoor practice field. If you want to practice outside, use the stadium. It's turf. You're not going to mess up the grass. So demolishing it would be, that's, I'm a San Marcos resident. You got to remember that. So you can't ostracize the locals here. It's not all about the college all the time. I love Texas State very, very much, but we gotta remember people here too. But I do get it. It is primo location. It's right there by the new end zone complex. It's definitely it's right there. And if they were to ever do that, they could utilize that land. But what's better, a parking lot or 100 houses? It's kind of like where do you lie there? But I appreciate it, Curtis. It's good thought. We're gonna find more space for these cats. This next one's from Certified Bobcat at Derek Dela Cruz. What's up, Derek? Hope you're well, my guy. What does the Bubba's Cup standing look like? They got it. They want it. That question. I called for the mailbag last week before they got the Bubba's Cup. The Cats had a good spring outside of baseball. Oh, yeah. Was tough for baseball, but they did have a really good spring. So this is track and field, softball. They did great things and they got the Bubba's Cup. So they did it again. 3 out of 4 years, back-to-back seasons. Bubba's Cup. I think it's funny. We heard from Goose. I saw him reply. I didn't screenshot the reply on it, but he corrected him and said Bubba's Cup. And I don't know if people get that joke because it's from so long ago. That's how long Goose has been on there. That when the Bobcats won the Bubba's Cup, and I reported it, I tweeted they won the Bubba's Cup, Bubbas. There's not that extra B in the middle. It's just Bubba's. It's a last name. Vic Bubba's is his name. It's not Bubba's Cup. It's not some guy named Bubba's Cup. So that's what that was all about. If you're looking at that, it's a little bit of an old joke. Shout out to Goose. It's always good to hear from you, man. Glad you're back around. This one is from, oh, and thanks, Derek, for the question. This one's from J.K. Simmons. Not the real J.K. Simmons. Loved you in Whiplash, if so. Which portal newcomer will play the biggest role on offense and defense? Portal newcomer. Are we talking since spring or new signees coming in? I know I am very big on Jaden Lawton, the corner coming in. I think he's going to be a terrific player. I meant to go look and see what number he got in the roster too. I won't do that now. We won't spend too much time doing that. On offense, and I think they're going to need some in that running back room. I think Greg Burrell, he's really going to get in there and get a lot of time. I think we're going to see some new offensive linemen as well. But Greg Burrell, really, I'm pretty excited about what he can do. If you watch him, his highlights from UNLV, you look at his stature and everything. It's like we were going over earlier with Jenkins and Burgess and Perry. There's a lot of running backs, but I'm really fascinated with Burrell coming in. So I'd say Burrell and then Lawton at corner, but subject to change. Like I said, I haven't seen these guys on the field in Texas State uniforms yet with spring ball being closed and everything to the media. So it will be more telling once we get coming up to the season. I know my guy, the Wizard, he's real excited about J.P. Dieter, defensive end coming in from Arizona State. So we'll see. We'll see though. A lot of up in the air right now because who knows? It could be even Keldrick Luster coming in. Is he going to be the starting quarterback? Who knows? A lot of unknowns right now. But yeah, early choices: Burrell and Lawton. Gosh, and even Kamari Terrell too. I think they got two really good corners. The guy from Oregon, Kamari Terrell. Good stuff. Appreciate you, J.K. Simmons. Keep up the great work on the silver screen. Bose of Sparks at Cats Up Fan. Bose of Sparks. I love it. Good stuff. Kev, who do you think the starting QB will be week 1? Brad Jackson. Don't know it for sure. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm thinking. He's the one guy coming in with experience in the scheme. He was the first quarterback out in the spring. They've praised him a whole lot. We've seen him front and center with some of these events that they've done in the offseason. He's right there. There's someone that they're showing off, a poster boy, if you will. I don't know if that has a negative pejorative. I don't mean it negative, but he has been somebody that they've they've been showing a lot. So I imagine week one, whether that stays true the whole season, who knows? Because there's a lot of competition. But I do think Brad Jackson week one. I would have before spring. I would have said Giovanni McCoy. He's out of here. He's off to Temple. Came in, was only here for 3 months. Wonder if he finished the semester. Not sure, but he's at Temple playing for Casey Keeler. But yeah, appreciate that one from Bosef Sparks. Brad Jackson, that's who we're thinking. This one's from Donnie Coriel. Not the AD, it's a fake account. These fake accounts, they're out there. You got to keep your head on a swivel. Watch out for them. But I appreciate what you do. I always like the fake accounts. It looks like he quote tweeted another question. Oh, when he asked about NWO, okay. We are going to keep this going. A follow up on the follow up. So if you remember, a mailbag might have been the last mailbag. He asked about NWO, New World Order, WCW. What did he ask? Hollywood or Wolfpack? Who has the better tag team, Harlem Heat or the Steiner Brothers? I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with the Steiner Brothers. I think I may have been too young when they were going. Harlem Heat, I remember Booker T. He was one of my favorite guys out there. But I'm going to say neither on that because I was all about the outsiders. We talked about it last time. NWO Wolfpack. We have Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, big sexy Kevin Nash. RIP to Scott Hall. Hey, yo, Scott Hall. Get the Wolfpack going right there. But I just saw Kevin Nash. What did I see him in? I just saw him in a movie. I was watching something and he popped up and I was like, oh, there he's got short hair now. Saw him there. Yeah, look, I got the long hair. I got to root for those guys with their long hair, the outsiders, all of them. I like Diamond Dallas Page too. He had the long hair. Oddly enough, I liked Goldberg too, and he was bald, but that was probably just I was being a front runner. I like the winner. Oh, I'm remembering what I saw Kevin Nash in The Detroiters. If you've seen this show, I think it's on Netflix. Tim Robinson. So I think you should leave now. That show. This was a show he did before that, more traditional like sitcom style show. And Kevin Nash plays Tim Robinson's dad, literally insane dad. He's literally insane. He breaks out of a mental institution. It's pretty funny stuff. It was always good to see Kevin Nash. Check out Detroiters. Only like 2 seasons. That's a pretty funny show. The Detroiters. But yes, the Outsiders all the way. That was my tag team. I don't know how well they did. I don't know what their record was. But those are my guys. Can't help it. Had to root for them. Appreciate that, Donnie Coriel. I hope you're well. Hope things in the imitation game are treating you just fine. Question for the pod. I think this is from Ray McCumber. It was a DM, so I just screenshotted, but I didn't get his account. But this is from my guy Raymond McCumber. What's up, Raymond? Appreciate you submitting this question. He says it's really hard keeping up with all the players coming and going from the transfer portal. Baseball just lost some key guys who thought would never. Baseball just lost some key guys who he thought would never leave. Is the transfer portal and NIL ruining college athletics for you? And do you like the pre-transfer portal era better than the state we are in right now? Is it ruining college athletics for me personally? No, it's not. I think it's a constantly evolving entity, and that's what I like about it. It's something that there are things in motion quite a bit, and I think it's wild right now, and it can be, you can get a little disillusioned with guys coming in and leaving after 3 months. It's the Wild West right now while everyone's figuring out how are we going to pay these athletes, something that should have been done so long ago. That how do we figure this out now? We've done over 100 years of not paying them. Now we have to pay them. Part of that is why it took so long for a judge to accept the settlement in this lawsuit, because it's not even about, okay, are you guys going to be allowed to pay players going forward? That's settled. They're going to do that. The settlement is about paying players going back to, I think it's 2016, all the way back to 2016. It's paying $2.8 billion. They got to divide up between a bunch of players who missed out on the NIL era. So it's that litigation has pushed things down the road where once this revenue sharing in these contracts where the school is directly paying them, because these NIL deals, these are companies separate from the school. These are collectives separate from the schools that are paying athletes. It's not the schools directly. Now schools are going to be able to directly pay them up to $20.5 million a year from their TV deal. Again, more reason why it's important to possibly move to a conference that pays you more, because if schools, P4 schools, 20.5 million, no problem. They're making 60 million from their TV deal. Texas State's making 2 million. So they couldn't pay that 20.5 million even if they really wanted to. They don't have it. If you move to Pac-12, you at least get a little bit closer there, and you're at least a little more competitive for some of these guys. But it can be a little disheartening, and because so much is changing. A player comes in that you root for, and then they're gone almost immediately. Or a player you're excited comes in for spring ball, and they're gone before the summer starts. It's a lot of guys are moving, and it is a business, and these guys got these athletes, they got to be able to maximize being able to make money when they can, because it's so finite. They just get a little bit of time that they can go out there and actually make some money. So yes, there are growing pains, and it does hurt and everything, but coaches who have been able to adapt to it have survived, have thrived, even not just survived, they've succeeded. GJ Kinney, I would put him in there. Man works the transfer portal like he was born to do it. Like it's like it's been around for 20 years and he grew up in it. He understands the business aspect of it. It is a business. I mean, even if you look at the first 6 years of his coaching, a different place every year for 6 years. So he understands it and understands the transient nature of it. It is a lot to keep up with. But now with revenue sharing, July 1st is when it goes into effect. I believe we're going to start seeing, okay, we'll share our revenue with you, but you got to stay here for at least 2 years. Stuff like that. There's going to be some sort of, hopefully, some collective bargaining that's going to add some regulation to this. And once that comes in, and it is a governing body, it doesn't look like the governing body is going to be the NCAA. I think I saw somewhere it was the College Football Committee, or should have made more notes about it. We'll do a whole revenue share episode because there's a lot to go over. And there was an episode pretty recent, 189 or 188, where we talk a lot about revenue sharing if you want to go back and listen to that. But it's going to settle it a little more. It'll make it a little more palatable for everybody, where you're like, who am I even rooting for anymore? What's going on? I don't even know who's on the team and all that. It will settle. It'll never be perfect. It won't ever be what you knew it was. So just forget that. Forget what it used to be, where a guy comes in and they're going to play 5 years. They're going to spend 5 years out of college. They're going to take a red shirt their freshman year, and they're going to be in maroon and gold the next four. It's not going to be that way anymore. And you have to just be able to adapt. You have to recruit the players that not only aren't here yet, but are currently here. You have to recruit them to stay. You build a culture, and that's how you get them to stay. Build a culture, and you build a nice war chest in the NIL department, or the revenue sharing department now coming up. So no, it hasn't ruined college football for me. I feel like, I don't know if you're asking that specifically to me or like for people in general. I imagine there's some out there in general where it has made them upset. It's gone, what they used to know with college sports, but it has evolved, and evolve, you either move, adapt, or die. That's what you do. Right now it's adapt or die. You got to adapt to the way it is. You can move up to another conference. That's an option, but it's a move, adapt, or die. But no, I'm not. I still love college athletics more than any other sport, more than any professional sport up there. No offense to the NFL, NBA, big fans of those, love those too. But I love college football. I love college athletics specifically. I don't think it's ruining it. If anything, I like seeing, like I was watching the softball College World Series and seeing Kennedy for Texas Tech with her $1 million contract. She's going to get another $1 million contract next year. That's great, because there's not a big professional softball league that she can go to. There's like the Pro Fast Pitch League. That I remember there was a San Marcos team here for a while. They played at the softball complex just one summer. And that doesn't pay a whole lot, though. So it's nice to see somebody who is so gifted and talented and does something so rare that they're able to make some money off of it. But no, it's not ruined for me, and it will settle. It'll become more palatable. Is it a little like, oh, you roll your eyes like another guy in the portal, another one? But hang in there. And I think Texas State specifically over the last few years, 2 to 3 years, they've done a great job of adapting to that administratively and from a coaching standpoint. Not every program from a coaching standpoint, but administratively, that's the important one. And this is the last one. Here's from Marshall Burns. I don't know if this was an actual official question, but he added me in it. Didn't look like it was for the mailbag. We'll go ahead and read it. It says, checking out the roster for the upcoming season, a man for my own heart. That's what you do. This is the time of year, like, let me just scroll the roster. Let me just get some names in my mind. Think about some football. But yeah, looking at it, he likes Cole Niles. Cole Niles. I'm gonna pull up a roster right now, number 45. Here we go. Cole Niles right here. He's from Philadelphia, 6'4", 252. Dare I say it? ... 4 dots. You only need 3. Sorry, that's the writer in me. Shades of David Mayo. After the ellipsis. Shades of David Mayo. We'll see. It's early. Yeah, that's a hot summer take. That's as hot as the Texas summer sun right off the bat. I mean, he's one freshman year in college at Bryant, saw action in 8 games, 52 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, a pass breakup, was named to the Jerry Rice Award watch list. Hey, you might be onto something. This is a guy, we're going to keep our eye on. Cole Niles. Marshall Burns is pretty high on you, Cole. But yeah, that's pretty high praise coming off the bat, just staring at a roster. But I love it. That's what you do in the summer. You stare at a roster and you're like, maybe. Is that the next David Mayo? Got to grow the hair out. Need the Thor-like look, Cole. Oh, we're excited to see number 45. It's a cool number too, 45. It's a good number. All right, that's it. Thank you, Marshall, for that question. And thank you to all you sickos for the questions. This 2-part mailbag. Hope you don't mind us breaking it up like that. I feel like, 30, 40-minute episodes, a little more digestible for everyone out there. Like I said, Wizard Wednesday, check it out. Look for it. Win Now or Get Bit channel. It is coming. Shout out to Zachary Webb for putting that out there, getting some more good content for everybody. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/WinNowOrGetBent. Check out our merch site, WNOGB.com. I've got the great Mad Cat Win Now or Get Bent shirt on right now. Check out our YouTube channel, Win Now or Get Bent. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Please subscribe if you haven't. I want to get us to 1,000 before the season starts. We're getting there. We're just a little over 3/4 of the way there. We want to get in there and get it. So help us out if you can. Check us out on Twitter as well, at Win Now or Get Bent. A lot of you listen to this mailbag. You already know. Thanks for participating in our Twitter mailbag. Check us out on Instagram as well, at WNOGB. Don't forget again to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, even on the audio versions of it. If you're an audio head out there and you're not watching the actual channel on YouTube, I get it. That's how I consume my podcast. Make sure you get in there and give us a good rating, subscribe to us, all that great stuff. It helps us grow, every little bit of it. Thank you to TGC LLC. Thank you to the Wizard, Zachary Webb. Looking forward to Wizard Wednesday. And of course, thank you, sickos, for tuning in. Without you, this would be a whole bunch of nothing. I'd be in a room talking to myself. I kind of am already. It's already a little crazy, but it's a little less crazy because you tune in and you show us so much support. Shout out to Front Porch U Sports for naming us. They named the top podcast for every team in the nation in college football, and we were named the top one for Texas State for Win Now or Get Bent. So shout out to Front Porch Sports for that. But all right, that'll do it. 2-part mailbag. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Win now or get bent. I don't know if I've ever done the eyebrow raise before. What do you think of that, Zach?